If you can give me your name, your date of birth, and where you were born.
Judith Elaine Rucker,
Okay.
November 17, 1944. And where I was born?
Were you
In Sebring, Florida.
Sebring?
Sebring.
R-I-N-G. And we're ready to go.
Judith Elaine Rucker, November 17, 1944, in Sebring, Florida.
Sebring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, what's your mother and father's name?
My father's name is Eddie Welch, Jr., and my mother's name is Ruth Evelyn Welch.
Okay. And did you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
And if you can give me their names.
My sister's name is Lillian Cole. My brothers are Gary and Alfred Duval Welch.
Okay. What type of work do they do?
Well, they are both retired.
Okay. Or what did they do before? That's good.
Well, my oldest brother worked in Washington making eyeglasses and shades.
Mm-hmm.
And my baby brother was a paramedic at the prison in Avon Park.
In Washington too?
No.
You said Preston? Avon Park.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
South of here.
South of here? In Grand Rapids?
No, south in Florida.
Oh, in Florida, okay. And so...
And my sister was a nurse.
Okay.
And she's retired. We are all retired.
You're all retired? And your sister is from where? Where does she live at?
In St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, so you're all from Florida?
Yes.
Basically. But one of them was working in Washington, D.C. or the state?
Washington, D.C.
D.C., okay. Okay, so how long have you been here in Grand Rapids?
1 year.
That's it? Okay.
1 year on the 11th of July.
Okay. And so, so all your life you grew up in Florida?
Yeah, Georgia.
Or Georgia. So your parents are from Georgia?
No, they're from Florida.
They're from Florida too? But you moved to Georgia?
Yes, my job transferred me to Georgia. So I went there.
I didn't ask you your job. What's your job? What was your job?
Well, when I went to Georgia, I was working at Allstate Insurance Company.
Okay.
But after they laid me off, I went to work at Delta Airlines.
Okay.
And I worked there 7 years.
What did you do at Delta?
Make reservations over the phone.
Okay. Okay. So you're in Florida. You were born there, and your parents are from there too.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember? What's the earliest recollection that you have in Florida? In the earliest memory when you were a young girl.
A young girl.
Yeah.
I buried my sister.
Mm. That's that. Okay. And so that's the earliest recollection. What happened to her?
Well, she's still living, but I put her in a hole and buried her. Put dirt on her.
But she's still living. So meaning you're not getting along, or?
Yeah, we get along.
So what do you mean that you buried her?
There was a hole, and she was getting on my nerves.
Okay.
So I stuck her in the hole, and I put dirt on her.
Oh, I get you.
So my mama liked to beat me to death, but that's all right.
Okay, I see what you're saying. What was it like, the community? Was it a middle class community or working class community?
It was a working class.
Working class community. Was it a mixed community or?
No, it was all black.
It was all black. Okay. Now there's a lot of Latinos there too, a lot of Spanish people there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was segregated, or?
No,
Because it was the South, but it's kind of different. Florida's kind of different than that.
It is, but the Mexicans and Latinos and all like that, they came in later.
Okay.
Later. I graduated school and moved away.
Okay, so they came in later, so it was primarily black at that time when you were growing up.
Yes.
And so what was it like growing up like that?
It was fine. I didn't know anything else. I was fine.
It was fine with that?
Yes, I was.
With the situation? What's the best thing that you liked about that?
Well,
besides burying your sister?
Well, it gave me an opportunity to learn all about me, to develop my skills and all like that. But now, let me tell you, the part of town I lived in was black, across the railroad tracks. The white folks lived on the other side of the railroad tracks. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really segregated, but it was.
By living, the way they lived, the house.
Yeah.
But you can walk back and forth without like some places in the South, if you walk back and forth, give you a big look or something.
They did that too, I'm sure they did. But they didn't bother us and we didn't bother them. Because my dad always told us, if you get in trouble, you're in trouble. So he said, now don't go doing nothing or saying nothing to those white people that'll come back on you later. So we never really did that. I worked. I went to work in my mom's place one day.
Your mom had a place, a store?
No, she worked for a lady in her home.
In her home, okay.
And I went to work one day in her place, and when she brought me home, I was sitting in the front of her car. My mama said, honey, have you ever seen Miss Drain bring me home? And I was sitting in the front seat of her car. I said, well, if I sat in the back, I was going to have to get out the back. So why not sit in the front and get out the front? But she didn't really like that.
Because she expected you to sit in the back. Okay. But did the lady want you to sit in the back, or?
She probably did, but she didn't say anything.
She didn't say anything at the time. Okay. So, but you're saying it wasn't like overt like some other places where they in the South. It wasn't that bad. You're saying?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Okay. What was your father like?
He was tough. He was rough and tough, and when he said something, he meant just that. If he said he was gonna beat you, you gotta beat him. But he was from
Georgia. Did he beat you with a
Georgia.
belt, or how did he beat you?
With a belt or a switch.
Oh, switch. So he did hit it pretty hard.
Yeah.
But was it like all the other fathers at that time, or was he a little more rough?
Well, most of my friends didn't have fathers, so he was not really rough. I guess he was brought up by his mother. He was the oldest child of 3 children, and his mother living in Georgia. So I guess what trickled down to him, he kind of laid on us. But
When you said like living in Georgia, you said that with an emphasis. So is Georgia different than Florida, or?
no, it depends on where you live. Now, my dad is 97 years old.
He's still alive?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
But now,
He lives here, or?
he lives in Florida.
Okay.
But now, think about when he was in his 30s, over 60 years ago. You know how rough things were down here. Well, maybe you don't know, but things were pretty rough. My father...
Rough in what way? Can you describe it?
Well, you know, my dad had a job. Well, he was in the service for a while. He had a job. Then he was just a garbage collector, emptied the garbage cans. And this white lady...
For the city?
Yes.
Okay.
So this white woman called and said my dad didn't pick up her garbage. But they don't have to pick garbage up off the ground. It has to be in the cans. So she got my dad fired a week before Christmas. I'll never forget that. A week before Christmas. And my dad ain't have no job. It was him, my mama, and 4 kids. That was rough. We still had Christmas. A lot of the other folks knew that my dad was a just man and that he would never do anything to deliberately hurt nobody or anything. So the other white women took up a collection. So we still had Christmas. We still got ready for school. But that was just the goodness of the people. Of some people. But they weren't all good. Not at all. No.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think about my mother. Worked for Miss Drain for 25 years. And all she ever made was $25 a week. Now that's awful. And she was a rich woman. My mom did the cooking. She did the cleaning, the washing, the ironing, all that. And all it was worth to her was $25 a week. But look, they had no money. But my dad is a very frugal man. If you make $10, you spend $5, you save $5. So that's how he got us through. He always had savings. My sister's like that. I'm not though. I try to save, but something always come up and gets it. So,
So Christmas was a big deal for your family, or
yes.
what do you usually do for Christmas? Besides that day, but I mean, what was Christmas like most of the time?
We'd get up, we'd get our gifts, we'd have a nice breakfast, put on our new clothes, and if we had bicycles and skates, we went into the neighborhood. So that's what we did.
Because it's warm down there for Christmas. They don't have any pine trees there. Who do they bring them? I don't know. But I'm from Puerto Rico, but I grew up here. But even in Puerto Rico, they bring these trees from up here and wait for Santa Claus. But you didn't have Santa Claus, or you did?
Well, we always believed in Santa Claus. We believed in him. Because if my dad said, well, I'm going to tell Santa Claus not to bring you nothing, oh, we'd be sick. We would be devastated. Because we thought he could tell Santa Claus not to bring us anything. But then I found out there really ain't no Santa Claus, except your parents. And then when I became a parent and had to play Santa Claus to my children, it was a rough go.
So how many children do you have?
I have 2. I have a daughter, 53.
And their names? And
Yolanda.
you got grandkids too, right?
Oh, yes, I do. I got great-grands.
Okay, good. You know,
Um,
they're gonna see this.
Yolanda Coleman is my daughter. She's 53. And Joseph Rucker is my son, and he's 50.
Tell me something about them. What's the good thing? I mean, everything is good, but I'm saying what it brings to mind. What makes your heart jump when you think of each one of them?
Well, no. There are a lot of things. I had meant to sit down last night and just kind of jot down what I was going to say, but for some reason I didn't do it. But
No, it's come out natural. It's all right.
well,
And this is a conversation piece that you can play and then add more. So when your son was when he first started school, what do you remember?
oh, I can tell you what I remember. I remember going to school every day. I had to go to his school every day because he fought every day. Teachers, children, it didn't matter.
What school was it?
It was in St. Petersburg, Florida.
And he fought every day. What was he fighting?
His daddy told him he had to be tough. And to him that meant fighting. But that didn't mean fighting. It just meant be tough in spirit, you know. But I went to school every day. Every day. I was glad I had a car because I couldn't have took going out there on the bus. But
Were you married a long time with his father? Or?
13 years.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
13 years.
So he told him to be tough. So he was tough too, or?
No, he tried to be tough, but he wasn't.
Didn't say nothing.
He tried to be tough.
Was he mean?
No.
Kind of respectful? Okay, you were the mean one.
Yeah. You know, I would never marry a man that I wasn't at least his friend first. Because if you're not his friend, how in the hell are you going to be his lover and his wife? You know?
Right.
So, but that man used to whoop blocks off of me. He would fight me.
Physically?
Physically.
Okay.
He would fight me.
What you mean with blocks? I mean, through hard punches?
Well, they didn't have to be hard. I was a little old something then. I was real thin then. They didn't have to be hard, but they did hurt. They did hurt. But,
Was he jealous, or I mean, what was his thing?
you know, I ain't never figured that out yet. And he won't tell me. But I guess he was.
Well, he must have been a good guy because you stayed with him too for a while.
Oh, yes, I stayed with him longer than I should have. We was married 13 years.
Why did you stay with him if he was fighting all the time?
I loved him too.
Okay.
Look, as long as he didn't knock me out and kill me, I wasn't satisfied, but I could live with that. But most of the time, our fights would be because of my mouth. You know, if I thought it, I said it. I didn't think about how it was going to sound to him or nothing like that. So we was kind of destructive in a way. So,
Love-hate, like they say, love-hate relationship. One day you're in love, the next day you're fighting, something like that. But you fought back. You fought him back too.
yes, I did.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna beat me up. He was just not gonna beat me down to the ground. I've always been a fighter. But before I started fighting, I could curse a person out so bad, they would cry. They would actually cry. So, I got plenty of beatings about that too, from my daddy. Me and my older brother, he's not older than me, but we would always curse. It didn't matter if you were grown or what. If you happened to bump into the wrong situation, you got cussed out. And we knew they were gonna go tell my daddy, and he was gonna beat us, but we didn't care. He wasn't gonna kill us, but he'd have beat us. So, just one of those things.
So you fought with your brothers and then your father too?
I
And your
never
husband.
fought my father. I never fought
Well,
my
not
father.
physically, but I mean you argued with him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I argued with him when he went to whoop my sister. He told her to go to bed. And she said, Dad, I'm ironing my clothes for tomorrow. He said, didn't I tell you to go to bed? Then he left the room. I said, oh, he's going to get a belt. He came back with that belt. He took that belt and hit that ironing board. He hit it so hard the ironing board broke. I said, now you ain't gonna hit my sister like that. No, girl, you better shut up. You ain't too safe yourself. Look, we'd have jumped him. It was 4 of us. We'd have jumped him. But we didn't have to.
He stopped. Basically.
Yeah. He had to stop. He was getting kind of rough around there, and my brothers was growing up, and me and my sister was already growed up, so you can only push children so far, and they'll turn on you like a dog.
But your brothers never turned on your father.
No.
There was respect.
Yeah.
Okay, so why was there so much respect for your father?
He ruled with an iron fist. What he said, he meant. And if he said it, he meant it. And if he said it, he meant he was going to do it. But we just kind of ran over our mama. She was so soft-spoken. She was an easy person. We could tell her almost anything. She didn't always believe it, but we thought she believed it. But she didn't. So that's what we did.
What sort of things did you do as a family?
As a family, we went fishing. We went to the lake. We had picnics.
Did you go in the ocean? Is that by the ocean or?
No, we went to the lake. There are lakes in Sebring.
In Sebring, okay. And what kind of fishing?
Blue brims,
Blue brims, okay.
catfish.
Yeah, okay.
That was basically it. Now, there were a lot of things my father did that I did not like. And I didn't like it, but I was a child.
I mean, like what kind of things?
He fooled around.
With some other women?
Mm-hmm.
And you saw him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it hurt my mother.
She saw it too, or she didn't see it, she heard about it?
Mm-hmm. But,
did you tell him, or no? Well, you can't tell your father that.
no.
Okay. But, so you didn't like it? That was something that you didn't like about your father fooling around? Okay.
And for a long time, I thought I hated him. But after my mother got sick, and my dad gave up his last job to take care of her, I had a change of heart. She said, now supposing I divorce your daddy. Yeah, I am an old woman, can't take care of myself. Who gonna take care of me? You? You ain't gonna take care of me. I'd have took care of you, Mama. But,
What was wrong with your mom? What was sickness?
she had sugar diabetes.
Diabetes? Okay.
She had to give herself insulin every day.
And so he took care of her diet and her insulin?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
He took care of her. He cooked for her, did everything.
So do you think that maybe your father was, the heating and all that other stuff had to do with the way life was at that time, or growing up, or in his family too, or no?
I don't know too much about my dad's family. I know my grandmother. I know his mother and his sisters.
What do you know about, what was she like?
She was tough too.
What's that?
She was tough. She was tougher than my dad. She was tougher than my dad.
What's her name, do you know her?
Carrie Doyle.
Carrie Doyle? Okay. And when you say she was tougher than your dad, what does that mean?
She was tough.
With the tongue, or with fist too?
Fist too.
Look.
And her tongue. She was, if I say it, I mean it. And if I mean it, I really mean it. Because look, she used to beat my dad. But
so that's where he got it. He got beat up.
yeah.
They figured, let me beat somebody else up.
So that's how it basically went. But
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
oh no, you're not putting words in my mouth.
I mean, he got beat up. He had a mom that kicked his butt. But did you meet so you didn't meet the family at all? No uncles or aunts?
No, the only thing I know I have, he has his oldest sister has a son that's 75. His baby sister had no children. He had 4.
And they're all in Florida?
No, they are dead.
Oh, they're dead. Okay.
They're dead in Georgia, except for my cousin. He lives in Chicago.
Okay, so his family was from Georgia, your father's.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom's family's from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And so they met where?
In Sebring, Florida. My dad was in the service.
In the service, that's where.
And he had to go to Sebring, his next tour of duty, and he met this little light-skinned, fat girl. Swore he was in love. Married her. Took her to Georgia. Brought her back. She said, Mama said, they call him Jack, but his name is Eddie. She said, Jack, you married a baby. He said, no, I didn't, Mama. He said, oh, yes, you did. He said, you better treat her right. So, now, I grew up with aunts living near my home or in my home because my mother's grandfather owned 2 houses next door to each other where my dad stays now, and the younger sister had a house on the main street. So we knew about uncles and cousins, and I had my sister and I had my brothers to play with. But if he tell you, don't go out this yard, you better not go out that yard. Because if anybody told him we was out that yard, that was a whooping. And, excuse me. So, we had Aunt Clara down the street. They were no relation to us, but we always called them Aunt Clara and Uncle Cook. But they knew my aunt and her sisters. They knew my granddaddy when he was a younger man. And
your granddaddy on your father's side? Your mother's side?
Mother's side.
Okay.
I never met my daddy's father, nor grandfather.
But your mother's side, they were from Florida, so you got to see them all the time because they were there. But see, I get confused. So your father met your mother in Georgia.
In Sebring.
In Sebring. But he had brought a lady from Georgia?
No, he took my mother to Georgia.
Well, who was the light-skinned girl?
My mother.
Oh, that's your mother. Oh, but she was chubby, you said. Okay.
She was fat.
Fat? Okay. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, she was fat.
And then you said a brother or somebody in Chicago?
My nephew.
Your nephew in Chicago. So you have a lot of relatives in Chicago?
No, the only person I have in Chicago now is my daddy's nephew.
What's his name? If you remember.
Daryl.
This is Daryl, you don't have to. Just in case.
Daryl Brown.
Daryl Brown? Okay. And he grew up there in Chicago and all the time?
His mother took him to Chicago when he was 5 years old. She got the heck out of Georgia. She married his daddy, and they took off. So they were raised in Chicago, basically.
See, a lot of people, like right around the war, and after the war, they moved up north. Did your family move up north at all, or no?
My daddy's family did, but not my mother's family.
And where did they move to?
In Sebring.
Oh, that's north?
No.
Sebring is Florida. I meant north up, like up here in Grand Rapids.
No.
Your family, none of them moved up north, but except you.
I had to come up north. My sister told my daughter she couldn't take care of me down there to come get me. I had a knee implant, and I wasn't really healing well, so I say, you ain't got nothing to do but come over here every now and then and say hello and go back home.
Why did you get a knee implant?
I have from like here
From
to
your-
down here.
From your hip down?
I have these medicinal rods they put in you.
Right, okay.
I broke my femur in this leg, and I had to have a metal.
Implant?
No, I had a cast that went around it
Okay.
that was in my skin.
Around the knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What, was it an accident or something, or
I
just,
had a wreck.
you had a what, a wreck?
A wreck.
Okay. Real bad.
Yeah, I thought I had lost both my legs. This one's got a spot on it where they had stitched it back together. This one's got two where they had to go under the knee and put that cartilage back, and then they went through the knee to do the knee replacement. So it's been a rough ride for me.
I had my left knee. I had some surgery there. I had an accident, so. But they just kind of scraped everything out. There was no. I didn't have to get an implant or anything like that. But I can't. I don't use it that well.
Yeah.
So how old were you when that happened?
It was in 1990.
1990. Okay. So before that, how was your life?
Uphill and downhill. Ups and downs, ups and downs.
Were you active in sports or anything like that?
Yes, I was.
What sports?
I love to play volleyball. And that's how I had the first accident on this knee. I was trying to spike the ball across the net, and I was playing out of my spot, and these two guys ran into me, and they fell into my knee and made my knee go back like that. Off the side. I said, y'all done killed me. And my girlfriend took me to the hospital, and when I came out, she said, Judith, what's wrong with you? I said, honey, I can't even walk. She said, well, I'll take you home. I'll let London know. So she took me home. So it took me a while to recoup from that. I had a cast from the top part of my thigh to right around my ankle. And then I did a stupid thing. You know how the cast get a little loose and you can twist your leg around a little bit? I got it out of that
Socket, like?
Yeah. And I thought I was dying.
You're twisting your leg, you're saying?
Yeah. So it didn't fit in the cast like this anymore. It was lopsided. I said, Lord have mercy. I'm dying down here. So, but my mother was still living. So she came to St. Petersburg and stayed a month with me to take care of the kids and get them to and from school.
What kind of neighborhood was St. Petersburg?
Now look.
Did you live there a long time?
I stayed in St. Petersburg from 1966 until I moved in 1976.
10 years. So for those 10 years, what were they like? That neighborhood, what was it? Can you describe the neighborhood? Was it tall buildings, small buildings?
No, it was just normal sized houses. Not like up here with these.
Yeah.
And
It was just regular, like, one-story house. Okay. But big ones?
yes.
Okay.
And there was a lot of land.
Okay.
These
Are the
people,
yard in the front and the back?
these people up here in Michigan they got these big houses sitting on these, look like happy lots. But
then you had a whole lot that you could plant stuff if you want. Did you plant? Did people plant?
some people did. My father had a garden.
Okay.
He had a garden up until 2 years ago.
Now, was that neighborhood black or was it mixed? I'm just trying to describe.
It was black. I've always...
Did you have one Puerto Rican or somebody living there?
No. No. I've always preferred to live where I was comfortable.
Okay.
And I was comfortable around black people.
Okay.
But now, I'm comfortable up here too, but in the building we live in, it's 4 buildings, 4 apartments. And all the women there are black. But across the street is an apartment, and 4 of the apartments got white men in them. Down the street is an apartment, and it's mixed. But
This is here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're saying you don't have a problem with white people. You just feel more comfortable among black people.
Yes.
So it's just being comfortable. Okay.
Cause see, I know, you never know what people are thinking, and people are so evil. That's bad to say, but people are evil. Even me sometimes. But now, if I had to walk in a white neighborhood, in fact, I went to Sebring one time, late on a Friday night, and I got in there about 12 o'clock, and my dad had to pick me up at the bus station. I said, oh, I can just walk to your house. Mama said, don't do it. She said, honey, these fools down here done went crazy. You be walking, somebody see you walking, they just grab you. I said, no. I'll sit here in the bus station and wait on Daddy. But if the police had to come, I would have came on home. But
So you got a little scared walking to it because you said that they would grab you like sexually or something, or
they
or
just
beat you up.
They might do both.
Okay.
But I didn't want to be grabbed. I didn't want nothing.
Was that happening a lot or no?
Yes.
Or what's happening to African American
Yes.
women? Okay.
And
the whites were doing that. Okay.
But we really had no recourses. The police was white. Everybody in power was white.
And at that time, if women tell police, they'll say, well, you provoked it. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No, you're not putting words in my mouth.
That's the way that was. At that time. They figure that the woman is provoking it or something like that. She's wearing a mini skirt or something. They're selling them.
I know that's right.
Yeah. But that was going on a lot at that time. It's part of the prejudice where the white men just think they can take advantage and stuff like that. Okay. So that was in the 60s, right? So isn't that, you said in the 60s from 66 to 76? Right after Martin Luther King and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay attention to what was going on at that time or you weren't political?
I wasn't really political, but I was aware of what was going on. I didn't want to be one of the ones that got caught out there. One-on-one I can fight, but if there's 4 or 5 guys in the car grabbing at me, I can't fight 4 or 5 guys and win. No. But
you know what I'm saying too, like, did it impact, like, for example, like today in the Mexican community, there, you know, there's a lot of talk against these people are illegal, we got to send them back and all that. You know, and Trump, Donald Trump and all this stuff. And, you know, Mexican people can feel that. Like, you know, they don't like us here. You know what I'm saying? So during that time, they had the civil rights era. And so it was black people, African Americans. Was there that tension? I mean, could you feel that hatred or no? That was going on or no?
You felt it. You really felt it. And sometimes you kind of fell in the trap of feeling like they did. Don't hate me. I don't hate you. You live, I live. You make $1, I make 75 cents, so.
We'll let it go at that. And that's okay.
But,
So sometimes people would fall into that trap of hate, you know, and you're saying that that was not right.
no, it wasn't right. It's never right to hate anybody. But,
Did you learn that in church?
I learned that at home.
Okay. From your mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But so you didn't go to church on a regular basis?
Yes, every Sunday.
Where did you go to church? And you don't have to answer. Yes.
Oh, Lemon Avenue Baptist Church
Okay.
in Sebring.
Okay. I see. Were you active in the church? Or you
Yes, I was.
Why? Because you had to go on Sunday.
I taught the card reading children, the little children.
Oh, okay. In the church, you're talking about like Sunday school? Okay, so you were active in the church.
Oh, yes. I've always been an active person. It's just lately I've gotten real lazy.
Well, you're retired now. That's it.
Oh, yes. And I'm enjoying my retirement.
Yeah. What are you doing for your retirement that you're enjoying?
Sleeping all day. Eating all day.
That's good. That's pretty good. Are you watching TV more? Or?
Can't watch it any more than I watch it, because I've always been a TV person. My TV stays on all night long.
Oh, you sleep with your TV like I'm not the only one.
So if I happen to wake up and catch something on TV and I ain't seen it, I'll lay there and watch it. Go back to sleep. Wake up the next time I wake up. But
So it becomes like your alarm clock. Because if you turn off the TV, you might sleep through everything. That's happened to me. So I keep it on. That way I wake up every hour.
oh yeah.
Okay. But they say that's not good for you, but I mean, that happens.
Well, it may not be good for me, but I enjoy it.
But you enjoy it. Okay.
I enjoy it.
Do you think about what the kids or anything like that, or are you just kind of glad that you got some free space or whatever? How do you feel? I mean, your plans. What's your plans with the kids and all that?
Right now, nothing. Nothing. Those kids are bad.
You're a kid?
My daughter, 3 daughters, each got children. The baby girl got a boy. The middle girl got a boy and a girl. And the oldest one got 2 boys and a daughter. But I try to do right by them. You know, I try to encourage them. But one thing that they don't seem to understand is they need to go to school. They need to apply themselves daily. Look, a man can stop you from anything. anything. But once you obtain it in your head and know you know it, he can stop you from using it, but he can't take the knowledge from you. No. And that's one thing my father always told us. Go to school, get an education. If we were sick, we couldn't stay home a day from school. We had to be damn near dead. Damn near dead.
So was your father, did he go to school, a lot of you? So maybe he just wanted to get you out of the house so he can relax.
Well,
I don't know.
well,
Because
I was his oldest. But see, when my father was a young man, like 9, 10, 11, he was doing little odd jobs, helping his mother with his sisters. And now, he can cook anything you want to eat. But,
He was a good cook.
yeah. But see, his mother worked 2 jobs. So, him being the oldest, he had to take care of the 2 girls when she wasn't there. So, he's always been a responsible person.
So he's just trying to make a better world for the kids and that. Okay.
Look,
What about your mom? Did she go to school or?
she went as far as the 11th grade.
Okay, so she went pretty. At that time, that was pretty a lot. And that's high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But she, whatever my dad said, it was like it was her idea. She went right along with it.
So how you feel about that? Because she was soft-spoken, she went right along with it. And that's not you.
No.
So how you felt about your mom playing that role?
Well, I didn't feel very good about it.
It was a smart role because she didn't get beat up that much.
No, she didn't. But
she knew how to handle it.
but look, are you really handling it when you just don't say anything? I guess that's why I'm divorced today. Because I said to myself, no man will ever treat this chick like my daddy treated my mama. And I didn't let it happen to me.
Your mother didn't get beat up that much, but you're saying that he treated her in a mean way, or something that you didn't agree to.
Well, it was mean.
What is it that you didn't agree?
They have another woman.
Oh, okay, the other woman. And your mom knew about it later.
Yeah.
And didn't say anything. Why do you think she stayed with him?
I know why she stayed with him. She loved him.
Okay, is that the only reason?
Well, she had 4 kids. She couldn't take care of
Okay,
herself.
so the 4 kids too was another reason, no? I don't know. Now I'm judging, so I'm not supposed to judge.
Well, I'm just telling you, this is how I saw it.
Okay.
And, you know, my mom was nice. She was the nicest person I know. The sweetest person I know. You know, it took me a long time to come to grips with that mess, because I was young, I was a child, but some of it had lasting effects on me. Now my sister divorced. No, I divorced first. My sister divorced second. My oldest brother divorced third. The only somebody still married is my baby brother. But he swear he gonna get rid of his wife.
He
I
wants
say
to
no.
join the crowd. He wants to join.
I say, but see, my sister has remarried again, and my older brother is living again with his second wife. But there's no way I'd go back to my husband again. No way.
You sound like you're debating that in your mind.
I had said one time, maybe if I took him back and then showed him how he used to treat me, he wouldn't like that. I said, no, I ain't gonna start nothing I don't want to finish.
Now, what do you mean treat you? Just in the physical fighting, or was he a womanizer too?
Oh, he womanized too.
Oh, he womanized. Did you call him?
Sure.
But you stayed with him too.
I stayed with him because I loved him.
The same as your mom.
Yes, I can understand that. But look.
And you stayed with him even after he hit you.
Yes, I did.
But you hit him back at least.
Yes, I did. Yes.
So you did this kind of similar things as your mom, no?
Yes, except she wouldn't divorce my dad.
Oh, you divorced him. Okay, went to court and everything. Okay. And were the kids already older now, or?
They were like, my daughter was 15, so that made my son 10.
Okay. So it affected them a little bit. But did he come back to them, or did he stay in touch with them?
No.
No, he didn't do that either. Did he try or no?
I don't even think he tried.
Okay.
Because look.
Well, we don't want to put him down completely, but you can say the few.
Yes, I
few
do.
bad things about him.
But now look, I would never deny him seeing his children if that was what he wanted to do. He was supposed to pay me child support for our son. He never did. In fact, I think he owed me about $50,000 today because he never paid me. But he did work hard.
What kind of work was he doing?
He was an over-the-road truck driver.
Okay.
Hauling
So he had a good
furniture.
job. That's a pretty good job.
So,
Did he give the kids any money, any gifts or anything? Sometimes they give gifts to the kids and they're just angry with the mom.
I doubt if he did.
Yeah, he owes you $50,000 a year.
Oh, yes, he
We don't
does.
keep a record of that.
But look, I told him, I say, look, you don't have to pay me. Because, look, I'm sure the statute of limitations has run out.
Okay.
But at least you could give me a dime sometime. But
So you're ready to forgive a little bit of that he owes? Because you do care a little bit about him.
yeah, I guess I do.
And I don't want to put words in.
No, I guess that's why I've never remarried. I don't gravitate toward men like my husband. Because it's easy to get caught up. And I don't want to be a caught up woman.
A caught up woman? I've never heard that. What does that mean?
You know, a man similar to my ex-husband. He was nice, he was kind, worked hard, did everything he was supposed to do, except he womanized. And I wasn't going to put up with that. That was one thing I had always promised myself. I would not be nobody's doormat.
There's got to be you, and that's you, and nobody else. You can't even look? You can't even look.
No. And so
Because he's got to be your friend, because you believe that he's got to be your friend first. Okay.
And I know Joseph Rucker will never be my friend again. Never.
What was his name? Joseph?
He was a twin to a girl, and his mama named him Joseph and Mary.
Joseph and Mary, her Mary. Okay. And this is someone after your husband, but he was similar to your husband.
No. I was talking about my ex-husband.
This is your ex-husband.
He was a twin to a girl,
Okay.
and their parents named them Joseph and Mary.
Okay. I get you. Okay. So you don't see him today, he doesn't see his kids, or? Okay, and he lives in Florida? Okay. And you've been here 1 year. Okay, but before that, you worked for the airline, you said, Delta. So how was that job work, or some of the other jobs?
Well, Delta was a nice job. I got to fly any place I wanted to go. I just never really wanted to go any place other than Las Vegas. I went to D.C. a lot to see my brother. I went up there for his wedding. He married his third wife. She was from D.C.
So he's always lived in D.C.?
He's only lived there, I'd say 20 years.
20 years. So what kind of job does he have again?
He's retired now.
Yeah, but I mean, what kind of job did
He made eyeglasses and shades.
DC is a more middle class, right? African American, he's middle class? Okay. And, I mean, they got poor folks, but there's not a large middle class community, African American community there. I don't know, I never lived there, but you know. Okay, so Delta, you went there, and you said you went. Where else did you go? You said.
I worked for Allstate.
Okay.
I went to Allstate in 1977.
What did you do for Allstate? In the office, or?
I worked in the office. I went from file clerk to rolling the files to the different departments. Then I went to a checker position. Then I got into the audit department, where I actually worked up the people's premiums and stuff. And then...
So you sold the insurance to them? Just worked it up. Figured out how much they gotta pay. But I mean, that's the big thing.
Oh yeah.
That's where you get all the arguments. So that was a fulfilling job. I mean, you like
it was. I thought I would never have given up that job. They took it away from me because we were going through the recession and everybody was cutting back. So my job was done away with.
But they just took it away like that. And how many years did you work there? Did you earn it?
23 and a half.
23 and a half. And they come one day and just tell you,
They told us 2 years ahead of time.
2 years ahead of time that they're gonna cut it. But they didn't cut everybody's job.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They got rid of the audit department. See, Allstate had a new company called North Brook. They was gonna take the North Brook part away and send it back to Chicago. But somebody said, they can't treat people like that. Well, you treat them however you want them. I said, it make more sense for y'all to keep me with all the money y'all paying me to get rid of me. I got a severance package of 2 weeks' pay for every year I had been there. Then I got my month's vacation. I got all my holidays. But it was so devastating.
What happened after that?
You know, they called us to go to...
I mean, did you get unemployment for a while too, or no?
Yes, I did, but I couldn't get it right away because the way they had figured up our retirement, our severance pay, we had to wait before we could file.
Mm.
So I waited. Then I found, you got to go look for a job. Look for a job. I ain't looking for no damn job. Y'all the one got rid of me. I didn't get rid of me. But,
This was here in Grand Rapids?
No.
Florida?
Georgia.
In Georgia? 23, so you lived 23 years in Georgia?
Mm-mm.
More than that?
No, I only went to Georgia in,
You started working in Georgia?
no, I started working in Florida
For Allstate?
for Allstate
But why you say Georgia?
because my job transferred me to Georgia.
I get you.
So I went on to Georgia, but they never promised me anything other than I do a good job, I'll get my increases and stuff like that. So that's what I did. And then North Brook came along. By then I had made a premium audit supervisor. So then in 94, we started hearing about there are going to be changes. So they talked about it for 94, 95. Then in 96, they took us to this little motel that was close to the job and told us everyone that was in the room wouldn't have a job next year. I was one of the ones in the room.
Yep.
Look, I wasn't gonna cry about no job. I ain't have no job. But tears did come out my eyes. They said, well, you going home or you gonna stay? I said, I'm going home. I got in my car. I went directly to my boyfriend's house. I said, Allstate done fired me. Now, you lying? I said, no, I'm not. He said, well, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna work up until the day they tell us is our last day. But if I had thought about it, I could have had another job because they did have positions for us to go and apply for. And at the time, there were only like 100 of us. I'm sure I would have gotten hired somewhere. But
it was a lower job. So why didn't you apply?
I didn't want to work.
Okay.
I've worked all my life, ever since I was 16. I deserve a break.
So they gave you a little freedom. You said, I'm not going back now.
That's it.
Basically.
So they say, well, you're going to have to apply for jobs. I say, look, now if I call a place and ask, are you hiring? They say no. Are you taking applications? They say no. And I put it down and they tell you the same thing. How you know I went there? How you know I didn't go there? You know what I mean? You got to think these things all the way out. All the way out. So then I say, well, I'm getting my unemployment. I said, well, maybe I do need to do something. So this little school that was close to my house, they offered computer classes and all kind of stuff like that. So I took a computer class and I graduated with a 4.0. And I wrote it was kind of like we're doing now, except I wrote it. And they put it up on the wall in the school building so that as people came in, they could read it. I said, well, I got this out the way. I said, I've learned how to use a computer. So what else can I do now? And by that time, Delta was hiring. So I went and applied, got hired, and I worked there for almost 8 years.
At the counter? At the counter?
No, I was in the call center.
Okay.
You'd call up and you want to go somewhere. I'd tell you what time you'd like to go, the fare, and what all you'd get during the flight. So,
did they have a lot of call center people there?
oh, they had almost 500.
Really? That many? Sometimes I think it's just only one person. So
No, it's more than one person.
yeah, there are like 500 people in there. So if you don't like somebody, you just hang up on them. They don't know.
Look, they are so smart. If you hang up the phone, they know you did it, and they'll come out there to your desk and pull you off the floor.
Okay. So they know. They got you. They track you down.
Yeah, but Allstate was a good place to work, and so was Delta. I can't complain about Delta. Well, I won't complain about Delta.
So what didn't we cover? What final thoughts do you have that we didn't cover? How about your life?
Oh,
I mean, if I were, let's say if I could be your son or whatever. I can't because I'm older. But But let's say for your children or your grandchildren. If I would ask you, who are you? What would you tell me? If they would ask you.
I'm me. I'm Mrs. Me. And that's just how I tell them. I'm Mrs. Me.
Okay. So you're Mrs. Me.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you?
I'm your grandmother. I'm your great-grandmother. I'm your mother. And if there's anything they want to ask me, they can ask me within reason. I try to give them a correct answer. But my son swears I'm 18. He said, Mama, how are you now? I said, well, it's another year. I guess I'm 19 now. Yeah.
What are any plans in terms of your kids or anything like your grandkids? Or your plans? Anything just besides watching the TV and leaving it on?
Look, I plan on getting married again.
You plan on getting married? Okay.
I got a boyfriend, but he don't want to marry. I guess I'm going to have to drop him by the wayside.
You're going to throw him away just like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why do you want to get married? I mean, what's the reason you want to get married? Do you have a lot of friends today or no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not about being lonely.
Mm-mm.
So you want to just get married, right?
I'm never lonely. I enjoy my company. I enjoy me. I tell my daughter all the time, I say, don't you enjoy being by yourself sometime? She said, I enjoy being by myself. And if there's anything I want to do, I know I can do it by myself. But I think I want to get married again. Not because I'm lonely, but it would be nice to have somebody there sometime.
Okay, so what's the most important thing that you enjoy, that you liked about being married when you were married?
Oh, you don't really want to know
You
that.
told me the negative part about the fighting, but I mean, what is it that you liked about the marriage? Because you did stay married for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
And that's probably in the future plans. If you're going to get married, you want to find that out about that person. Right? You want those things, the good things.
Yeah. No.
So what is it that you're looking for in a person?
He must be kind and loving to me and my children, my grandchildren, my great-grands. He must be willing to assume the responsibility. I'm not talking about the total responsibility of being in a relationship with a woman with children. You know, that's always something coming out your pocket all the time. All the time. And my daughter don't ask for like $50. Look, she beat me out of my 20 yesterday.
They assault you. So he's got to have some money too, because he's got to provide. What if he's got kids?
They can come on in. I love them too.
Okay. He's got to have some extra money for your kids. Okay, that's okay.
I think I'd always have enough to take care of my kids' needs. But if I marry, that's supposed to enhance the pot a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. You need to add to the pot. You can't come in trying to freeload.
No.
No, none of that. No players. Okay. Any final thoughts?
Well, this was a nice experience.
What was nice about it? I'm hoping that it's nice. I mean, we want to give you a chance to get stuff out.
Well, yeah. But, it gave me a chance to reflect back on the things that I've been through and how I've come through them so far. But now when you finish with this, what it's gonna be?
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to put it on the internet. So anywhere, like Florida or whatever, they can see it. They'll be able to type in the address and see it. You got to tell them what the address is. And then we're going to save it at a library so that it's not lost. So they always have a copy there. And then we're going to keep a copy at Grand Valley, because that's where I take it to put it on the server. And then from there is where we'll take it to the library. So that way we have like 3 copies in case they ever get lost. And the community house will know how to get that in case you lose your copy or something. But it's going to be yours. It's going to be all the time there. If it's on the internet, it should be permanent. That's what we're trying to do with the library. That's what we're negotiating now.
Well,
But that's what we're going to do. But again, I don't think that you said anything that you have to worry about.
oh no.
Right? I mean, you feel comfortable with the interview?
Of course I do.
Okay, so then, we're just going to put it exactly everything you said, including the few words that I'm saying.
Okay.
That'll be in. But let me just test it.